All right, so the first gen legacy series, it continues, I should say, and we're back. And the purpose of this series is to focus on the legacies that first generation college students leave in their communities, with their families, and in their institutions. I'm Latanya Reese Miles, and today I'm very excited to have a conversation with my two favorite young adults, my own kids, Jabari and Zoe. Welcome, you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate you having us here.
Can you say a little bit about yourself? Like introduce yourself, maybe what city you're in, anything you want to say. Jabari, you're the oldest. We'll start with you.
Okay. My name's Jabari. I'm from Los Angeles, California. And I currently live there too. Um, and yeah, I went to Cal State Northridge for college. And what else? Yeah, that's me.
All right, Zoe.
I'm Zoe, also from Los Angeles, but living with my mom in East Palo Alto. Um, I studied at School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Um, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you both. And as you know, well, guys, you had a really, really unique experience growing up on a college campus, growing up around college campuses.
Mhm.
Um, when we lived at UCLA, when I was a faculty and resident there, if I'm not mistaken, Zoe, you were around age 3, which means Jabari, you were around age 7. And then we lived there for about 5 years. And um, Zoe also lived with me when I was Dean of Student Affairs at Menlo College. So the primary question for today is, what was that experience like growing up there? What are your memories and how you think that impacted your own college experience? So I'll start with the first question, whichever one of you wants to take it. But what is your earliest memory of being on a college campus?
Okay. Should I go first? Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. I was actually thinking about this too. I feel like I don't know if this counts, but I feel like I remember Zoe's like birth or whatever. I remember being in the hospital, and that was at UCLA hospital. So I don't know if that counts because I was like 4 years old at that time. So I'm not sure if that really counts as that. But if that doesn't count, I remember. I want to say I remember dad like his college graduation or something like when like granddad was like when like his dad was out here. I feel like I have like some memory of that too, like a tiny bit of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot about those things.
yeah.
So, yeah, you were about 3 when your dad graduated from Cal State LA.
And
And
that was at the college campus,
that was
right?
at the college
Okay.
campus. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned Zoe's birth on the UCLA campus. Did you even know what UCLA was at the time? What did
No,
you even think?
no. I mean, I was just there. I remember I was just like really anxious and like excited. Because I don't know. I just remember being like really anxious and like just really just like energetic because I was about to have a sister or something. So I didn't really care about that. I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know what was happening. So
Right, right.
yeah.
Okay, Zoe, how about you?
I feel like my first memories are all from living on UCLA. Like, I don't really remember anything before that.
Hmm.
So, like, my earliest memories are just us living there, period. And like eating at the dining halls and stuff and riding our scooters down the hill. That's all I remember from my earliest memories.
When did you guys realize what a college was and that you lived on a at a college campus?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I remember like having to say that like I lived at a college and I guess like that was different like just living on a college, and like I guess I don't know, like I started to just realize what a college was, I guess, at that time, because knowing it was different, like I was kind of curious of like as to like why it was different. So then, yeah, I don't know. I just knew that like people went to school there, I guess, where I
Well,
live. So
well, it's funny because like Zoe said, she was literally born there, right? I mean, you both were born at UCLA, but her
mhm.
earliest memories are being on campus. Jay, you at least had a different, like you lived other places before we moved on campus. Um, one of those places was actually in the grad student housing where Tyler and Chandra
I didn't even
did
realize that till later, like later on, like that was actually like for graduate
part
students
of.
at UCLA. Yeah, that was I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember moving to the actual UCLA campus? That you would have been like in second grade,
We lived across the street from the Y before that, right?
right?
That was before. Yeah, I don't remember like actually moving in for some reason, but like I remember that house. It was Reber, right?
Yeah, we lived in Reber.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that house. I don't remember like moving into it, but um, yeah, I remember being there and me and Zoe's bunk beds and um, yeah,
Mhm.
like yeah, I actually really like that house too. So
The one in Reber.
yeah.
That's when we were in the basement apartment that Zoe doesn't remember, right?
Yeah, I
You don't
don't.
remember that at all?
No.
Oh yeah, and then we had what was it? Was it Dana? Was our neighbor? Yeah, I
I,
remember Dana, and I remember having like a basketball court, or was it his or ours? I forgot.
I think it was ours, but Dana Pidge was a resident director, and he
Hmm.
lived next door, I believe, with his partner.
Hmm.
And yeah, they were our only neighbors at the
Yeah,
bottom of that building.
yeah. I remember the students there saying hi to us at the front desk, and um, yeah, taking that elevator down all the way to the basement and just having that house there. So yeah, it was a cool experience there for sure.
Okay, so since you mentioned it, I'd love to hear more about your interactions with the students. I guess well, obviously at UCLA and maybe LMU, if you remember LMU. What do you have any memories of interacting with any of the students there? I'm sure you do, but it's like some of your earlier memories.
So you can go first.
Um, I I remember some, yeah. Um, I remember like Halloween going to different students' floors and stuff, and they would give us candy. I remember that.
I forgot about that. I used to love Halloween.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was great.
I vaguely remember um uh like front desk people. Um, but like when we would get the mail and we would say hi to the students that worked there, but I don't remember at that point where we were living.
Mhm.
That was probably Reber,
Okay.
because we would get the mail from Reber. And there was a student, Caressa, in particular, who loved you, and would take you behind the counter to get the mail.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
What about
Yeah.
you?
Um, yeah, for me, it's actually crazy you brought up Halloween. Like, I forgot about that. I remember just liking like all the different themes on the floors, and I thought that was really cool. Like, yeah, like just got a whole bunch of candy. Um, but as far as like students and stuff, like I remember Monique and George. I don't remember like George babysitting me when I was like a baby or anything like that, but like I remember like Monique coming over and like all this like your friends that were staff members like Erica and
Mhm.
Anna and um I think I remember some football players that used to like come by or whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else. Antonio, was it?
Oh,
Right?
he was an RA. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember him for sure. And um yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Antonio was a big part of one of Zoe's birthday parties when it
Mhm.
was a Cinderella theme.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he had your glass slipper. Okay, so you're having this very unique experience. Like you said, you're not even sure where you are, and then you have to tell people, I assume your teachers or your friends, that you live on a campus. What was that like? And what were your classmates or your friends' reactions to that?
I just know they didn't believe me because, well, okay, we went to school really close to UCLA at like Brentwood and Emerson and stuff. And when we'd have field trips at UCLA, I'd be like, "Oh, I live here." And um I could just tell no one believed me.
Mhm.
And also, I don't remember who, but at some point, like I said, I lived on the UCLA campus, or I lived at UCLA, and someone was like, "Oh, you mean what is it called? What is it, the city?"
Westwood?
Yeah, like you're like someone was like, "Oh, you mean Westwood?" And I was like, "No, I mean like on the campus."
Mhm.
But yeah.
Mhm.
Did you experience something similar?
Yeah, I remember going to UCLA one time for a field trip, and I remember thinking like I could just go home right now if I wanted to. I could really walk home if I wanted to. And I remember kind of like I think I remember like kind of bragging it to my friends, like I could just go home right now if I wanted to. Like, but but yeah, I mean, one of my earliest memories was when I was in elementary school and like telling kids that I lived in UCLA and no one believed me. And then I remember like dad came like on campus or whatever. And he told everyone that like, oh no, like he actually lives on UCLA. Like I don't know, he had like told like a group of my friends that like no, like he actually does live on UCLA. Because like I said, no one believed me or anything like that. So yeah, I mean everyone was just kind of curious as kind of like to where I lived, like if it was actually like a house on the campus or like but like I don't think they realized like we lived like right literally like in the dorms, like right under it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't, I think we talked about this recently, but I just want to make sure we say for the record that there was a time when you were in elementary school and you were really frustrated. You came home angry because some kids didn't believe that you lived on campus. And I told one of the football players who they lived above us at that time, Mike Norris, and,
Mhm.
and he was like, "We'll go up there. We'll I don't know." He didn't do that, but it
Yeah.
was that was really nice that he
Yeah.
offered that.
Yeah.
Do you all remember anything like when your friends came over to visit the campus? What was their reactions like, and what kind of things did you show them?
Mm.
I don't really remember having many people over other than Pearl, um, who already knew we lived there. And then I would just hang out with Nico, who was our neighbor. Um, but I don't know if Jabari has any different experience.
Yeah, I remember sixth grade. I had friends come over for my birthday. Like we had a sleepover. Um, I don't remember them like I don't remember them having like any like anything to say about me living on the campus. But I'm sure they thought it was pretty unique. Um, and trying to think. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really like the only memory I kind of have having friends because I did have some. I did have like Andres on the campus too as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I was going to ask about that. Maybe we could talk more because you all did grow up. There were other kids. You weren't the only children who lived on campus. So you ended up hanging out with children of other faculty and residents, like
mm,
Nico, you mentioned Zoe, who was your best friend for a little bit, and Andres. What maybe let people know what kinds of things did you all do on campus? When you're
mm,
a kid, where do you play on campus?
I remember we had a basketball court in front of our house, so we would use that a lot, or like a basketball hoop. Um, we used our scooters a lot. Um, we would just play like around the like dorm building and hang out at each other's little apartments too. And just yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember having my scooter and just going everywhere across the campus, like going like whether it'd be like I would go from our house all the way like up the hill to Andres's, like almost every weekend. I remember, and just yeah, I mean, it was really just like a big like I don't want to say playground, but like it was just like a huge community, I guess. Just I remember just always driving, riding my scooter all around the campus. Um, I remember like the area in front of the Nev. I remember just hanging out. I remember like running around with Zoe, like in certain like we would just make fun. We would just do like stuff like it would just be maybe in the walkways or like
Mhm.
the ramps. Like we would just be playing around there. I think I remember you guys said that we couldn't go like a certain like we couldn't go past a certain area or something like that. But yeah, I mean,
What, what, as you like you're playing outside and you're on your scooters, do you remember any reactions from students? Like, did they say, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like the UCLA students.
To be
mm,
honest, not really. It was like a really big open space in front of our apartment, and I feel like I didn't see a lot of students just walking in that like area. I remember sometimes like we lived across like another building, and there was like a little garden area with boysenberries, and I
mhm,
would hang out with Nico over there a lot, but there weren't
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
students like walking out
yeah,
of that building, so it kind of just felt like a the kid zone.
mhm,
Hmm.
yeah. Trying to think. Wait, what was the question again? Sorry, it was.
No, no, I was just wondering if you
Oh
remember
yeah, the
students
reaction. Yeah.
having any reactions to you.
I remember playing outside on the basketball court. Like some students would want to like take a jump shot, or they would like try to like cheer me on to shoot a jump shot, whatever. And I remember because I remember as a kid I was a big USC fan, and I had that USC basketball. So I remember some students like I don't know. I remember them kind of like making some faces sometimes, and I remember like I didn't want them to see the ball too. Like when those students would like walk by, I would try to like hide the fact that I was that it was USC basketball because I didn't know what they would do. I thought they were gonna like come at me or something like that. I don't know, but no. I mean, only if only thing if I mean if anything, they only had reactions when we were in the dining halls. Honestly, just
Oh, let's talk about the dining hall.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. As part of our experience living there,
yeah.
we ate at the dining hall pretty regularly. What what kind of memories do you have of the dining hall? Or and then you mentioned students may have said something. What was that like?
Well, for me, I remember just like loving it just because it just felt like a limitless amount of food and I could get whatever I will not get anything because you and dad maybe have salad and stuff sometimes. But I mean like it's literally like any kid's dream to be able to have like pizza and hamburgers and fries and like chicken, like just basically like literally any food to even like desserts. And just just being there with like other students and yeah, it was just a big basically like a buffet like almost every night. So and yeah, I mean I could tell students were kind of curious to why there was a couple of kids running around. um but I mean they didn't seem to have any problems with it. So yeah.
Anything you want to add, Zoe?
I mean, pretty much just I feel the same. Like I remember I loved it because it was just a bunch of pizza and hot dogs and fries, and it was like the luxury of eating at a restaurant, but like it was on our campus. So it
Mhm.
was really just easy access and it was really nice. Um, yeah, and I remember like the ice cream machine and the it was really
Yeah,
fun.
that was great. The ice
It
cream
was
machine. I remember this just like not like being able to wait to just get some ice cream right after like when we leave and stuff.
right.
Had a little routine going.
Yeah. And it was just free. Like there was no like limit like I said, there was no limit to like how much food we could get, like the dessert. Like maybe we want
Oh no.
something like maybe we want a lot of food one day, then the next day we're not that hungry. So it's like, yeah, it was a great experience eating there for sure.
Well, it sounds like the dining hall was a highlight. Are there other special memories or any other thing that stands out about living on campus?
Mm, Honestly, I just liked being on my scooter a lot, just riding around the campus, like just seeing the different types of buildings there were, and um, I don't know, it just felt like like an adventure, just riding around. I feel like I rode around alone sometimes too. I feel like, but yeah, I mean, I remember when Malcolm came. Was it Malcolm came? I don't know. But I remember seeing like the UCLA runs, like the basketball runs with like the NBA players. Um,
Oh,
I don't know if I was. I forgot. I feel like I went with Malcolm. Well, I may have went with Dad or something like that.
okay.
Um, but if we lived on campus, yeah, I mean, I remember that one. I mean, just I remember seeing NBA players and them being so tall and athletic, and I feel like it was like Kenyon Martin. I think like he like ran into the wall. He saw me and he like rubbed my head and kept going or something like that. So yeah, yeah, that's something I remember for
That's
sure.
pretty special.
Yeah.
How about you, Zoe? Anything?
Um, I mean, living on a college campus in general was really a really cool experience and knowing where everything is and like mentioned before, like going on field trips to UCLA, but like I live there, so I already know where everything is.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like a brag to my friends. Um, and just like I remember thinking that like I really wanted to go to UCLA when I was a kid. Like I was very adamant on going to UCLA. And it was like perfect because I already lived there, so I knew where everything was. I had my picture in there, recently taken down, unfortunately, but it was there for a long time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Wait, what was your picture at in the
It was both of you.
oh in McNair?
In the AAP in Campbell Hall. There's a picture of the two of you up um in the hallway for a long time. And then you were in a video as
Mhm.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jabari, did you want to go to UCLA or were you over
No,
it or
no, I think I told you this before. Like I was already kind of tired of the campus, but like not tired of it, but I felt like I was already just used to it by the time I was like 11 or 12. So like it really, and as me, like I like change. I like new things. So already living there for like 4 years, and like I really didn't see anything special about going to um like like going there for like school because I already knew everything. I would want to have go to a campus that I'm not really familiar with and experience new things. Not that it was anything bad,
yeah, yeah, something
obviously.
new.
It was a
Yeah.
great campus. It was a huge campus.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I just like change. I like new things. So yeah.
Well, Zoe, you didn't even apply to UCLA, so you want what changed your mind?
Um, well, realizing that I wanted to go to an art school instead, like even though UCLA does have an art program, it's not the same as actually going to an art school. which I think just suited me a lot better. But I still love UCLA.
So you guys grew up around a lot of college students and professors and staff, not just at UCLA, but also at LMU. And wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about any one of them that you felt was either particularly inspiring or influential in any part of your life. So,
Mm. Mm. Um, Honestly, I mean, I don't think there was really anyone in particular. I mean, that was kind of inspiring. I mean, I knew you guys were all professors, and I really like admired that you guys were in like just like the academia, like the academics area, and like so yeah, I just thought it was always I thought it was always cool that there was always like ceremonies, and you guys were always getting like awards. You guys are always speaking at panels. Like it seemed like we were always going to some like ceremony or like some or just some event. So I thought that was always cool. I mean, I always thought you guys were. I don't know. It felt like you guys were really popular, especially you. I mean, if it was anybody, it would probably be you, just because of how popular you
I
were.
don't count.
And, I mean, it does technically. I don't know, but
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, because you were always speaking at panels, you were always getting like a award, you're always giving like a speech. So yeah, seeing that was definitely pretty cool.
Well, before Zoe answers, I want to mention there was a time, Jay, you probably would have been like 8, maybe, where you really looked up to this guy named Trey. I don't know if you remember this. Trey was a McNair scholar. He was in this program at the same time as Monique. And you went with us on a campus visit to USC, and you were like his little his shadow, and you
Oh,
wore his shades, and you thought he was
I
so
remember
cool.
that. Wait,
Yeah.
let's say, wait, I thought that was in New Orleans.
No,
That
no,
was that was at USC.
that was at USC.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember taking that photo, or whatever, but I don't
Oh,
remember. I don't remember him. That's crazy.
yeah. We called you Little Trey.
I don't remember that at all.
We
Wow.
really looked up to him.
Okay.
How about you, Zoe?
Um, I'd have to say Paul Mendoza. Um,
Oh,
when I was in high school, like right before college, I did like a little internship at UCLA with the like the graphic design team and the student workers there. And Paul was my supervisor, and he was very nice and helpful. And yeah, I admire him a lot.
oh, I forgot about Paul. I'll be sure to let him know. I'll send him this recording. Uh, we have to shout out George Turner.
Mhm.
Of course, he's just
Mhm.
basically like family at this point. But the reason why I know George is because he was my student and then became one of my staff members. And again, he's basically like my brother and you guys' uncle. And then, of course, Monique, another student who's Zoe's godmother. So shout it, and other folks too, but wanted to
Mhm.
make sure I acknowledge them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was too easy. Like, I
Too
don't,
easy. Well,
that was too easy.
I mean, I just think of them as family, not like
Yeah, like
staff
it's
or
bigger
students,
than
you know.
that sort of
yeah,
stuff. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, I know that the facilities workers were like a big part of our experience, and just wanted to give you all a moment to talk about any of them or your memories of the folks that were cleaning the buildings or food or whatever memories you have. Just want to create a space to talk about them.
Hmm. I remember like every morning when we went to school, we used to say hi to um like one of the service workers there. Like going home, like leaving to go to school and then coming back. Like it seemed like we were always just saying hi. I remember at the dining hall there was some. there were some people that were working there that were pretty cool. Like I feel like they already knew what I wanted sometimes. And I remember some of the housekeepers that we had too as well.
Oh yeah.
I kind of forgot
Yeah.
about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I remember them being nice, just really friendly. Yeah, I think so. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Shout out to Carlos and Rosa
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Yolanda. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Yolanda.
Uh, and Zoe, I don't know if you had a memory.
Um, I don't know if I have a specific memory, but um, I do always appreciate faculty workers and everything that they do. So just want to appreciate them in general.
All right. Well, let's transition to talking about you all, not just as residents of a campus, but also, um, your own college experience. So I guess one broad question is, do you think having parents who not just went to college, but living on a college, who gave you opportunity to live on a college campus, like, do you feel like it gave you an advantage in any way? And if so, how? Let's start with maybe as you were applying for school. We could break it up into applying to school or when you're actually on a college campus. Do you feel like you had any kind of advantages?
Um, I'll say that I don't know. I don't think like having parents who worked or went to college gave me an advantage, but um, I think in like for you, mom, you actually work in like higher ed and you know a lot about like the ins and outs of college and the college application and that process. So that helped a lot. Um, Especially when applying. I don't know about, yeah, I'll just say especially when applying.
Okay, okay, we'll come back. How about you, Jory?
Um, I mean, I feel like, I mean, if I had like grades good enough to get into UCLA, I feel like it would have definitely felt like an advantage just because I feel like, I mean, like you know people like you know, like like the ins and outs of just what it takes to go to UCLA and just the whole process of it. So, um, yeah, I mean, as far as like the applications and stuff, I mean, I felt like you definitely just had us ready, like when it comes to applying, like you already knew what it took, like you already like yeah, you basically just knew what like what like we needed. So
Mm,
um so yeah, I mean like my friends always talk about how like I should have had better grades to get in UCLA or like LMU or something like that. But um yeah, not that my grades are terrible,
mhm,
but like they weren't up to like that level at all. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you talked about like by the time you're 11 or 12, you're already over UCLA, and both of you obviously, well, I don't know. It seems like you were familiar with the landscape of the school. I don't know how much you knew about college itself, right? Because it's not like you were, well, I don't know. Did you go to college classes? I guess you did. Sometimes did you come to class with me at all? I don't even remember. I know
Sure,
you
I mean,
came this
I'm sure we have, but I think I remember being in the classroom with you.
probably. I would think so.
I definitely have memories of you. Like, I don't know if you taught class, but you definitely just had like a bunch of students in there for maybe like a certain event or like a
Right.
something. Um,
So you had some kind of exposure, like you've been in a classroom, you've been on a college campus.
mhm.
Um, do you feel like by the time you applied to school, like were you excited or did you feel like you were over it? Or do you, do you feel like, oh, I already kind of know what college is like?
Mm, I mean, I kind of felt that like college was kind of like mandatory, and not like mandatory, but like I felt like it was something that like everybody should do, um, just from a young age. So, and I didn't think it was necessarily like a hard thing to like do because I've seen so many people there. Like I lived on a campus, so I didn't necessarily think that it was like a impossible thing to do. But because like I just knew the importance of it because I feel like everybody had to do it, just because everyone I knew went to college, or like all the staff members and students, like they were all at the college, they all had degrees and stuff like that. So yeah.
So you were shaking your head.
Oh yeah. I I would not say that I was or prepared or like I knew what college would be like because the colleges that you worked at and that we lived on, like UCLA and LMU, are very different to art school. Um, like a traditional 4 year is very different. Um, so I would not say that I was prepared. I think I was prepared more for the application process than the actual experience. Um, and I also kind of shared that sentiment with Jabari, like you kind of have to get a degree because I mean you and dad have a degree and like we lived on a college campus, so like it felt like that was obviously what the next step is to go into higher education. I haven't graduated from college and I still have a lot of mixed feelings around that. But even like, I don't know, I guess just um I was not prepared for the college experience.
Oh, fascinating. And you did like two or three summer programs.
Yeah.
That didn't prepare you either?
Um, I think a little bit they did, especially the one I did at SAIC, like before I went to attend there, that told me a little bit, but I mean, even that is only like a little glimpse into what it's actually like to actually like go to class and go do all this work, and it's a lot. It's not just like
Fascinating.
a 4 week
Hmm.
4 week thing for high schoolers.
Right. And then you go home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Um, so you talked about both of you felt like prepared for the application process. Um, let me ask about the living part, and then I'll ask you a little bit more about the school part. Having lived on a campus already, what were your feelings about living on campus somewhere else, though?
I was excited because I mean I was rooming with my best friend, and uh I was going to school with a bunch of my close friends that I went to high school with. So I mean I was pretty excited, and like I wasn't really far from home. So um yeah, I mean I like I kind of like the fact that I was still close to home, especially for like laundry or anything like that. But um yeah, I mean I don't remember being really scared. It felt like something I was really excited for.
Well, you had this like great experience of being in this buffet style um dining hall with ice cream. Did it meet those expectations when you were at Northridge?
I mean, it was basically the same.
Okay.
Like yeah, it was basically the same thing. Like the kinds of foods it was, the whole setup of it, it was really the
Okay.
same thing.
Okay.
So it wasn't anything new to me. Like
Mhm.
um yeah. I guess there was a certain limit though, because there's only a certain amount of times we could have like swipes and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
So I
Yeah.
guess that was a different part of it. But other than that, no, I mean, it was basically the same thing.
Zoe, you went away to school though.
Mhm.
What was that like?
Um, I don't think living in a different state was any like made any difference to me. I will say like when we lived at UCLA, we lived in like an apartment style, and the first time I ever really like experienced the dorms was when I did the pre-college program at UCLA, and the dorms like have a they have like the little bunk beds and the desks, and then you have like a communal shower at UCLA. And I realized that's not what I wanted when I went to college.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember like the dorms being very important to me when I was looking into different colleges. So when I went to SAIC and they had like a little kitchenette and a nice each room had a bathroom, so it was nice and I enjoyed that.
I do remember that being a big deciding factor for you about
Hmm.
what the residence halls look like.
Yeah.
At least you had something to compare it to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, if do you feel how did do you feel like you were prepared for the actual school part of college?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like going to St. Monica prepared me for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple classes that were harder at St. Monica than college. Like,
Wow.
like probably a few.
All
Um,
right. Shout out to the Saint. There was some good that came out of St. Monica.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say good because those classes were terrible, but yeah, it did prepare me though, for sure. Um,
Well, Zoe, you said not so much, right? I don't know
Yeah.
how deeply you want to go into it, but generally speaking, what would you say is like the difference between an art school versus a traditional 4 year?
Um, well, I don't really know because I never went to a traditional 4 year, but I will say that like going to art school, I kind of had this expectation like, oh, it's gonna be so fun just doing art all the time. And I didn't realize how like burned out I would get. And the school that I went to, I mean, you still have to do like essays and papers and um you don't have to take like a math course, but you still have to take like art history and there are certain like requirements that you still have to do. Um and that like essay writing is not my favorite. So that was hard. Um and it can be intense. Um but yeah, I don't really know how to compare it to a traditional 4 year because I've never
Yeah.
been to one.
Yeah. Now that you bring it up, I can see how you probably were better prepared to go to UCLA or Stanford
Yeah.
than SAIC, just based on, your prior experiences.
Mm.
I have one last question, but before I ask that one, I want to know if there's anything else about your experience growing up in and around hanging out around college campuses that you want to say or mention before I ask this last question?
Um, I don't know. I'll say that I really enjoy going to like the ceremonies. Like I said, I feel like we were just always going to some event or some ceremony, and like just I remember you like knowing everybody, and like everyone knowing you and meeting new people, even though I never remember their name. Um, and yeah, like it was a cool spot. I just love how like it seemed like there was always some like free food. Honestly, what happened to Zoe? She got kicked out. She got to charge her phone. I mean, charge her laptop. But yeah, that's one thing I remember. The food. There's a lot of free stuff. A lot of you know people that seemed to just like knew me since I was a baby. That I really didn't even really knew who they were, but it seemed like there was always people just like I guess like looking out. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, that had to be really interesting for all these people, like I said, like you said, that know you even if you didn't remember them. And I think a lot of people probably mark their time based on how old you guys were, right? And and they'll often say like, I remember when Jabari was playing basketball,
Yeah.
because I was a freshman, and they remember those things.
Mhm.
I also want to say thank you guys for coming to all those different ceremonies and events and things like that, and
Mhm.
whether you're in the front row or the back row.
Yeah.
Um, Zoe, is there any anything you want to add before the last question?
Um,
Wait, was it Theo that hung up?
yeah, he
Okay.
did, yeah.
Okay. I was just,
Sorry about that. I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Well, before we conclude, I just want to um, take a minute to ask you if there's any accomplishment that you are proud of. And it can be anything, it doesn't have to be about school, but I think it's really important for you to like celebrate your own successes. I appreciate how much you've been supporting me, but what about something you're proud of?
I mean, I would say my college degree, and can I say more than one thing? Is that
Of
fine?
course.
My college degree and um uh like doing my basketball program stuff and like sticking with it. Um because like it was something that I talked about a lot doing when I was in college with like my friends, and I did it. So and I'm still doing it. So yeah.
Well, say a little bit more about it because this is going to go wide. So let people know what it is and where they can find information about it.
So I have my own basketball program. It's called Fearless Hoops. I train kids ranging from like 7 years old to like 18 years old up to like high school and stuff like that. I run like I have like one-on-one training, it's like small group training, basketball clinics. And I'm looking to, do more in the future as far as like getting like an AAU team and um running more clinics. So yeah, if you want to follow me for like more content or whatever, you can follow me at Fearless Hoops on Instagram or TikTok. So
Oh,
yeah.
TikTok. All right. How about you, Zoe?
Um, um, accomplishments.
Anything.
Um, I guess I'm proud of myself for going to college in general. And even though it didn't work out for me, I'm still proud of myself for trying my best and having that experience.
Great. Thank you both for this. Like I said, as you know, I was very excited for it because I didn't know the answers to a lot of these questions. So I was really interested to hear what your experiences were like, and it was very, very insightful. So thank you again for joining me today. And I look forward. I don't even know what the next thing we're talking about on the series, but I'll let everybody know when that happens. And I just want to say I love you guys very much. And you are definitely my greatest accomplishments.
Appreciate it. Love you too.
All right.
That's cheesy. Bye.
Bye.